Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge television, radio, and podcast talk show. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 2 p.m. on the Eastern time zone as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. It's always so much fun. I love being with you every day. You can find us on television on channel 182, Charter Communications, and that's up in North Alabama. Another way you can find us is on syndicated on Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast now on thenewscasters.com. You can find us that way as well. Another way you're going to be able to find us, I'm going to give you a hint. It has something to do with newspapers, if that makes any sense. But it's an updated version of newspapers, so you'll be able to find us that way as well. Continue sending email. Absolutely makes my day. Donna at donnasedge.com, Donna at donnasedge.com. I've got my good friend Kiel Pankonien with me right now. And Kiel, it's always so good to be with you. And you've got some questions. Again, guys, continue sending email, Donna at donnasedge.com. And this is because of your last segment. We were talking about, empty nesters. What do you do when the kids fly away? But I will tell you this. Mine had a habit. He would fly away to go to college, but then he would fly back in. So
we'll see if that happens this way. We're not quite there yet, but it's funny that we had a conversation similar to that this morning.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. But now, before we get started, let's talk about what you do. And I appreciate everything you do, by the way, Kiel.
Yeah, so I'm the executive director of Ephesians Pro Wrestling. We're a professional wrestling ministry. We use the art of professional wrestling like we like to do, bang our bodies around, but we actually do that to be able to preach the gospel and share the gospel with people that may never step into a church. We may be in a church doing a show, or we're just out in public doing a show, but wherever, they may not step into a church, but they'll come watch some wrestling. And while they do that, they're going to get to hear about Jesus at the end of it. And then we'll actually give them an opportunity to receive Christ as their Savior, and then pray with them through that, and then help them through that journey. If we could stay connected, we help them all the way through that journey. So it's a lot of fun. We do, our adult show, our adult wrestling. We're on Abundant TV every Saturday night at 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern for Saturday Night Battleground. But the thing we also have that I love the most is we have an EPW Kids division. So we have 38 kids in our kids program, and they also do professional wrestling, put on their own shows, and actually they share gospels. They share their own testimonies, and these are kids from the age of 7 to 14. So we stay busy, we stay active in the community, but more so we love sharing what we walk, and that's the walk with Jesus.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And I want to say something about Abundant Television. Rob Patz and the team that he's put together for that is really grown. I was one of the first to have a TV show there, but now Rob and I were friends before Abundant Television. And for the platform that he has put together is a really good platform. It's family friendly. I think that's something that a lot of folks can't say. And but it is, you're not afraid for your kids to watch Abundant Television, and some really good programming on there, including yours. And so it's just another way to get the word out. And I really do appreciate Rob for all of that.
We do too, very much.
Oh yeah. I wanted to, and another thing, I used to have cable a long time ago. I don't anymore. I like, because we have to have the high internet just to run the show here anyway. So using Roku, Apple TV, or Amazon Fire is an excellent way without having those high cable bills.
Exactly. And we were just talking a couple days ago, you can put Roku on anything. So like my son's going to college and he's taking his Roku TV. So you can use it as a computer monitor. It has Roku on it. Or he'll take a gaming station. Heck, you can even put your TV apps on those. It's amazing how much you can do without having to pay for cable anymore. And really, paying for cable, in my opinion, now is worthless. There's 2,000 channels of absolute nothing, and you can go over to any type of streaming service, but you specifically can go to Abundant TV, and it's not just what you would think of a Christian network where it's all churches and everything. It's, we have an exciting show. There's a couple of exciting shows. I like to, and I can't think of his name right now, but he goes out and builds things. But he's from the Dallas area also, where we're at. So I would love to connect with him and do kind of a crossover show where, he helps us build something and then we put him in the ring and beat him up. I don't know, but it's fun. Abundant TV, just to wrap that piece up, is unique. It is very unique in the fact that the shows are very unique, but they all share the gospel in their own different ways. So that's why I love being a part of them.
And it's great to team up with somebody visionary like Rob Patz.
Yep.
And so anyway, it's all a bunch of fun. So let's talk about you. And so we were talking about kids, the empty nesters,
yep.
and leaving the nest. You got to let them grow up. You got to let them go to college. You got to let them do whatever, that they need to improve their lives as well. But you have some really good questions here that have been sent from folks. So Taylor sent a message and it says, how important is it to allow adult children the freedom to make their own decisions, even when parents don't agree? That's a good question.
Well, in my opinion, as hard as it is, you've got to. They're adults. When kids become adults, when you're little, you say, hey, that's hot, don't touch it. What do? We touch it. And so if, as an adult, we say our adult child, hey, don't do that, well, they're going to go do it anyways. They may go do it because you say not to. And it's something that I've gone through, and it's more of a, hey, here's what you could face. Here's what's going to happen if you make those choices. I love you. I'll be there for you, but don't expect me to bail you out if you make a choice that you shouldn't. And so I think you have to let them, but you also, it's very important that you're there to love them through it, no matter which choice they make. Because I can guarantee you made some bad choices too, and you may not have got caught. Or if you did get caught, the way you respond can impact your relationship going forward, because now you're two adults and you don't want to lose your son because your son or your daughter. So I think you just kind of have to let them do it. But all that starts when they were born. You start teaching them right and wrong from when they're born. So when they get there, hopefully they can remember that.
Mm-hmm. Another question, this one comes from Kristen. And Kristen asked the question, how important is it that you let kids know, no matter what decisions they make, and if it's a bad one, a bad outcome, that they can always come back home?
Too often people don't do that. But really, you always want to support your children until you start enabling your child.
Oh, yes.
If your kid, no matter what, adult child messes up and they need to come back to you, I would do it with open arms, but I would also do it with open arms with some rules, parameters, and expectations, because if you just let them go mess up and come right back home to where they have a free meal, a warm or a cool place to sleep, whatever the case may be, you could easily go from parent to enabler, and that's whenever it becomes an issue. You do not want to enable your adult children to do things just because you'll bail them out of it.
Well, now the world is teaching that you can do whatever you want and there are no consequences to it. So what are your thoughts about, as a family, as a dad, as a mom, or whoever the caretaker is, enabling consequences to what someone does when they make a mistake?
Yeah, I'm a little stumped on that one. I just, where the consequence comes, it's theirs.
Mhm.
And if your kid goes to jail, or I'm sorry, your adult child goes to jail, and
Mhm.
you go bail them out, but they did something pretty significant, then what are you bailing them out for? Just because they're your child? You don't want them in jail? Or maybe they got a ticket. Hey, let's go away from the legal side for a second. Your son gets his car repoed. He
Mhm.
doesn't make the payments.
Mhm.
It's repoed. He calls mom and dad. Well, guess what, big boy? You should have made the payments. So there's consequences, and it doesn't have to be legal or negative, but they've got to be willing to whatever they sign up for. They better be able to accept the consequences, whether that's good or bad. And you're going to find a lot of times you're going to hit a bad consequence, but when you do, you got to be willing to man up and say, all right, I guess I have to take care of what I've done. And so when you're looking at that, the more you get them out of that, the more you're enabling them.
Ooh, I think so. So I know my granddad one time. This is back in the country where they lived, and there's really nothing for kids to do. But he and his son and a bunch of boys, my uncle, went into this guy's watermelon patch and started just hammering, destroying the man's watermelons. And of course, they got caught. The guy, called the police, and they took him to jail. Well, my grandparents get mad at the guy for putting him in jail. So my dad asked my granddad. He said, "Well, what would you do had that been your watermelon patch? Because this is
Yep.
guys living, and they destroyed the watermelons." But my granddad he was trying to bail him out, trying to get him. And I'll have to say, my uncle is just a spoiled, rotten brat. He's 7 years older than I am.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, because he got him out of that behavior continued.
Well, and here it's kind of interesting you say that. This weekend we had a wrestling show. We have a wrestling show every other week to film for our TV. This weekend, one of our guys, he's Aaron Eagle on TV. He gave the gospel presentation, and I was sitting there listening to it, and it very much fit into this. And he was talking about how this summer he gave his children. He's got 3 or 4 kids. They're mostly teenage years, but basically this summer, all of their job, the family, was to dig in and find out about Jesus and how he died and who killed him.
Mhm.
Because his kids are at a point where they're kind of on the fence. Hey, do I believe this? Do I not? And so this summer, he said they've done that. And at first the kids weren't into it. And so it goes with what you just said. He said, okay, well, let's talk about this. What if somebody killed mom or dad? What would you do?
Mhm.
Oh, I'd go find out who did it, how they did it. He goes, that's what I want you to do for Jesus. Who did it? Why did they do it? And what happened?
Analogy.
Treat it the exact same way and then respond to it. And it fits kind of what you were saying. And when he said that this weekend, it really did. It resonated with me. And it definitely resonated with the crowd. We had a lot of people raise their hands for prayers. We had wrestlers all over the place praying this Saturday night. But it's the same thing all the way around. You just have to go after it. If it's something you want and it's something you believe in, it's something then why don't you check it out first before you go jumping into it, so you're not jumping in the wrong thing.
Well, we're all a bunch of gardeners in our family, and my granddad made a really good point, and it always stuck with me. He said, if you're ever trying to get a tree to grow a particular way, it's best to bend it and try to cause it to bend when it's a young tree while you can bend it. You cannot bend a grown apple tree that's 10 years old. You're not going to be able to do it. But if you'll do it when it's young and tender, you'll get it growing the right way.
That's correct.
That's the perfect analogy. Let's go ahead and go into a commercial break. Can you believe half the show is already over, Kyle? We'll be right back in just a minute. Queen City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. You know, finding the right home isn't just about bedrooms and square footage. It's about comfort, security, and the feeling you get the moment you walk through the door. That's why so many families across Greenwood and the Lakelands area trust Jenny Ferguson with Keller Williams. And I'll tell you from personal experience, Jenny was my realtor, and she truly cares about her clients. Jenny takes the time to listen, to understand what matters most, and to guide you every step of the way, whether you're buying your first home, upgrading, or ready to sell. Because this isn't just a transaction, it's your life. With local knowledge, personal care, and a commitment to getting it right, Jenny Ferguson makes the process simple and even enjoyable. So if you're thinking about buying or selling, now's the time to make your move. Call Jenny Ferguson with Keller Williams in Greenwood today and take the next step toward a place you'll truly love coming home to. Good afternoon, Sunshine. Medical Minute brought to you by Dr. Chuck with Lakelands Chiropractic, where an ounce of prevention is worth what? A pound of cure. So what is the Beamer? Okay, now the Beamer uses very gentle pulse to electromagnetic signals. This will stimulate healthy muscles and it supports the temporary blood flow. Now let's talk Beamer and circulation support. Now the Beamer gently supports natural circulation in healthy muscles. Now that's what I call natural health. Thank you so much for watching your Medical Minute, brought to you by Dr. Chuck. You know who he's with. He's with Lakelands Chiropractic, where an ounce of prevention is worth what? A pound of cure. I hope you have a super duper awesome rest of the afternoon. You take care. Shine your style at Kiss My Glass right here in the Anderson Mall. There's a place where style meets sparkle. At Kiss My Glass, every piece is handcrafted, custom designed, and made to shine just like you. Owner Beth Gibson brings creativity to life with stunning custom tumblers, gifts, and one-of-a-kind pieces you won't find anywhere else. Look for the perfect gift or something uniquely you, from bold and glamorous to simple and elegant. There's something for every style, so stop by, get inspired, and leave with something unforgettable. Kiss My Glass inside the Anderson Mall, Anderson, South Carolina, where your sparkle begins. Be sure to check out Kiss My Glass on Facebook for updates and specials and gift ideas.
Because of your overwhelming support, our $14.88 MyPillow has been one of the biggest sales in MyPillow history. I couldn't think of a better way to say thank you than to extend our wholesale pricing through Christmas. Get a classic standard MyPillow for only $14.88. Upgrade to a queen size, just $18.88. King size, only $1 more. Get my body pillows for only $29.88. And ready? Multi-use MyPillows, only $9.88. It's perfect time to stock up for Christmas gifts for everyone on your list. Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our wholesale pricing. Including my classic standard MyPillows, only $14.88. But that's not all. I'm so confident you're going to love our classic MyPillows that I'm going to extend my 60-day money-back guarantee until March 1st, 2025. Plus, orders over $75 ship absolutely free.
Good afternoon. We are back. My name is Donna, and this is Kyle. And thank you so much for watching Donna's Edge television, radio, and podcast talk show. Continue sending email. Kyle and I love it. Donna at donnasedge.com, Donna at donnasedge.com. So this is a really good, this one came in from Dana, and Dana says, what role does faith play in navigating this new chapter of life?
I think it's everything. This may get a little emotional for me, but it really is everything. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're okay.
You're going to have faith in Jesus first. He's the ultimate. I mean, first and foremost, if you have faith in Jesus and you know who Jesus is, you got to know that he will take care of you no matter what. Now, that may look a little different than what you may want it to look like, but your faith in Jesus has got to then flow into your faith for your child and faith for your the way you brought your child up. As far as my son, I think I have faith in Jesus 100%. I've got almost 100% faith in my son. The little bit of lack of their faith is just age and maturity. I mean, it's hard sometimes for kids at 18 to make an adult choice and make the smart one, and that's understandable. But I do have faith that we as a family were able to bring him up in a way that he knows right from wrong. So whenever he makes a decision, he knows what he's making a decision on. And he may not be willing at the time to take the consequences, but that's one thing I talked to him about not too long ago was, listen, before you do anything, just think about it. If I get caught, what? And I think I said this on the last show, but if I get caught, what? Because you have to think through those things in everything you do. Work when you get older. And when I say if I get caught, what? If you try to take a shortcut at work and it doesn't work, what's going to happen to you? And so the faith is very, very important. I think if you don't have faith in Christ, it's going to be very tough for you to have faith in your child while they're nowhere, in another state, or even just at a university a few minutes away. But if you don't have faith in Jesus, it's going to be tough to have faith in anything else. So I think that's important. I think it is the foundation.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It is the absolute ultimate, absolute decision that you can make. This is another good one. How can people rediscover their purpose after years of identifying themselves primarily as mom and dad?
That is a very good question, because I'm a true believer in our purpose. It doesn't necessarily change, but you always need to be searching for your purpose, even if you think you know it. What was my purpose 18 years ago is not even in the radar of what my purpose is today. And 18 years ago, I was in law enforcement. I was going to have this great career. That was my purpose. In the middle of that career, I realized my purpose was not that. I mean, of course, I still enjoyed it, but my purpose felt like it was getting in front of the kids before they get to these situations. Where now I feel like I'm really following my purpose of leading a ministry, working with our youth in my youth group, just in overall trying to be a better person. That is my purpose. And I know my purpose is to serve God, but your purpose could always change a little bit, because I feel that I'm being called to a little bit something else too, not to add something to it, but I just feel like, hey, every season you go through, you have another purpose when you get through that season. So what does our purpose look like now? It's going to be from everything about our son to really diving in with each other. And our purpose will turn back to loving each other and having fun again, which we've done. And this week, this morning, I sent my son to see my brother. He wanted to go see my brother in Oregon before he went to college. So we have another week together, just me and the wife, to kind of, I guess, test the waters and keep doing those little things. So I'm excited about this week. I think your purpose will always change, but your purpose needs to keep one thing. One thing should always stay steady within the purpose, and that's Jesus, because he will guide you to where you're going next. You don't want to stay stagnant. If your testimony is not forever changing, then you're probably not doing enough are doing what you could do to further the kingdom, in my opinion.
Absolutely. No, I didn't count them, but there's a lot of this one question. So I'm going to kind of roll it into one question.
Okay.
And this question is about knowing who your kids' friends are, because you have a little more control when they're living at home. But when they either go take a job somewhere, that's part of the questions there, or when they start going to college, you don't have the grasp on that. So the question is this. Is it still okay to be a nosy parent even when you're an empty nester before they get married?
I think so, but I think you need to be careful on how nosy you are. I kind of battled through this a little bit at college orientation whenever I found out that basically we have access to nothing unless he gives us access. So we can't see his grades. We can't pay his tuition. We can't do anything. It's not us. It's him. Now, it always cracks me up because who do you think's paying for that tuition? It's, but we had to. I didn't have to force. I told him he was going to do it. But my son had to provide us access so that we can at least see his grades. Obviously, we pay his tuition. Sure. But I want to be able to see his grades because I don't want him to get into a position where he feels overwhelmed and he's too afraid to tell us about something and then do something that just wasn't smart. Right. So we can keep an eye on it. So I think you need to stay involved. Mm-hmm. Do I think you need to be nosy? Yes and no, but be careful with the nosy. My nosy is going to look different than my wife's nosy. My wife loves asking 100 questions. It usually drives me and my son nuts, but that's just who she is. Yeah. So stay involved, ask questions, but hopefully by the time your child goes to college, you have enough of a relationship where you can pick up on something if there's something that doesn't seem right. Your kid changes friends and it's not going to be good. Your kid will change, but you've got to be able to recognize those things. So always stay involved. I think at least through college, once they get out of college and they're going into their job, hey, just be there, support them, and you can still slap them back on the right thing. But I think there comes a time where, like you said, when the kids come and he starts building his own family, it's time to step back and enjoy grandchild time versus, hey, I think forever I'll be teaching him things because I'm obviously older than him, but hoping that he'll learn from my goods and my bads, learns from my mistakes and all the things I did right. But I think you have to walk a fine line there, but at the same time, do not just assume everything's fine and let them say, oh, yeah, I'm good. You need to get involved. Just be careful of getting too involved.
I think so. Now I was a very nosy mother when Brad was living with us. I would spot check his room. Not that I thought he was doing anything. I was afraid a friend could do something and maybe hide something, maybe his drawers or whatever. So I was a nosy mom. But then when he started going to college, I was less nosy. But he knew the kind of friends he needed to hang out with. But we raised him that way from day one. It was, because you or whoever your friends are. That's how you are. Okay, that's the timer. Can you believe the show is already over?
I don't know how we do this so fast. It goes faster every week.
It does. Let me ask you a real quick question. How can folks get in contact with you if they would like to be part of the wrestling events? Yeah,
if you would just follow us on Facebook, Ephesians Pro Wrestling. And that's EphesiansProWrestling.org. You can also find us on the website, that's where our website is. We're on Facebook, Instagram, some other platforms that we don't really keep up with. So, but also if you ever feel free or if you want to, you can email me directly at Kiel, Kiel, at EphesiansProWrestling.org. And, I'd love to hear from you. And if you're interested in becoming part of the ministry, give us a shout. We're always taking in new volunteers and new people to help us.
Absolutely. Kyle, again, thank you for being with us. And thank you guys so much for watching. I want to also thank all of our sponsors. You guys help us keep this show on the road. But again, thank you so much for being with us. We'll see you next time. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care.
Thank you.